Hey, hello. I wanted to start my own eyeshadow palette tag. I know there's been a lot of tags over the past whatever years. I think I don't know. We're in a couple. There's been like a part one and then there was part two like last year or the year before. Either last year or the year before. So I wanted to do my own. I'm not very innovative or I don't think I'm very creative, but you know what? I'm doing it. All right. We're doing it. Okay. So it's going to be, I don't know what the name is going to be. It's going to be like another eyeshadow palette tag because I'm so creative. So I don't have the hugest collection of eyeshadow palettes, but I have a lot for like a normal person. Yes, I have a small, beauty YouTube channel. Also, if you didn't already know, from my channel name, I am vegan. I have all things cruelty-free and vegan beauty, sometimes subscription boxes, sometimes subscription box choice, unboxings, spoilers, vegan grocery hauls, makeup reviews, that kind of stuff. So if you want to see more of that, I would click subscribe. And liking doesn't always, can't hurt either, So let's get into this. And also, even if you're not a content creator, please let me know in the comments down below what you would choose for these. I'm gonna also put the questions in my description box. So first is an easy palette, kind of just like you don't really have to think about it. You just slap it on your eyes and call it a day. You can go glam, yeah, you call it a day. So I was like an easy palette. So an easy palette for me is the Lunar Beauty Nude Prism palette. I got this in BoxyCharm, I think like a year ago. The shimmers are pretty easy to use. The mattes are really easy to use. Everything's easy to blend. You have some darks, but mostly mid-tones, lights, and some neutrals. The shimmers, four of them, I don't know if you can tell, look pretty similar. But this is like a good interview palette, good work palette, good glam palette, but you're gonna get neutrals. And then I do like that there's like some mustards in here. You can see some dips. I do like the pinks. It's just a really pretty palette. And this is by Manny MUA, if you didn't already know. He's an OG on YouTube. But yeah, I really like this palette, and the packaging, doesn't hurt either. Palette that's on the chopping block most likely will get decluttered. Because whenever I look at it, I'm always like, don't really want to use it. This is from Oden's Eye. It's my only Oden's Eye product, actually. My friend Sierra gifted me this. The packaging is beautiful. This has been reformulated, and I think the shades would change. If not, I'm gonna put the new one on the screen. So the shimmers are pretty. Some of them, this palette, you just don't know what you're gonna get. Like some of these shades are like the chameleon shade. The pink chameleon shade is really pretty and shifty. But then some of the shimmers are just like, what is this? Why is it like the others? And then also the matte selection, I really don't understand. You have this gray, which I don't really think goes with any of these. Maybe this, and then you have this mauve tone. It can go, but then you also have a black and a brown and then a teal. There's no real mid-tone. The gray is the only light tone. It's just kind of like deep tones. This is just one of those where I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. Like I said, some of them are very pretty shimmers. This one's okay. There are a shift, but then you have this one that's really thin. It's pretty, but it's more like a topper shade, and I don't always do that. Some of them are more this is messy shadow, but even it's just kind of chunky. It just doesn't make it, when I look at it, I'm not like, oh my god, I can't wait to use this. Now this is really pretty in the inner corner, but yeah, it's just kind of weird. And then even this is the gold, that's this shade right here. It's just kind of weird. So pretty packaging. It's a pretty palette, but I'm also I don't know, the shimmers are just they're pretty bad, and the mattes are kind of whatever. They feel okay. They feel kind of dry actually, but they are pigmented. But yeah, I just don't I don't really reach for this because every time I look at it, I'm like, ugh, I don't know what to do with this. So technically I've never bought anything from Oden's Eye because that was gifted by one of my friends, but I'm kind of nervous to try Oden's Eye for some of the products, except for Angelica Nikivis collabs. If I ever got those, that would be amazing. Now she has her own brand, so she said she won't be doing collabs anymore, which makes sense. But yeah, some of those palettes, I just I want to buy stuff from Oden's Eye. I really want to get the singles. That's what I want to get, is the singles, and I might get a mystery box sometime because I really do like mystery boxes. But anyway, yeah, just don't want to reach for it because I'm just A palette that I kind of just bought for the packaging or just for like the collection is from Glamlite. Also my only products from Glamlite. I did get a mascara and brushes. I got the Michaela brushes, which I didn't think were very good, but the ferrule just broke off and the brushes were just okay. But they were pretty cheap. So I got the Scooby palettes. They've done a second part to this collab, but I just got the one and the two. I just got the first collab. So this is the Retro Raggy and the Creeps and Crawls, Retro Raggy. I do like these. I did use them a lot when I first got them. And then that was when I was unemployed and I was just working at Ulta. And then I got a office job. So I used to work from home for like 3.5 years. And then I got an office job. So I didn't use these as much because this is the lightest shade in here. I wish there was like a light blue or even like a different green. But even this one is still pretty like, it's light, but that's kind of it. And even like the shimmers, like I wish there was, I mean, these are really good shimmers. They're very pretty, but there's just not a lot to this. It's more monochromatic, but I love the packaging. Very nostalgic for me. I love Scooby-Doo. My kids still watch Scooby-Doo. And then the Raggy and then the Creeps and Crawls. It's pretty dark. Again, this is the lightest shade, but it's still more like a mid-tone. It's really pretty, but I got it for the packaging. I've put this in declutters and then my kids see them because of the packaging. So maybe I will never get rid of these. Who knows? A palette that I like for the shimmers, but not for the mattes. This is also gifted by one of my friends. This is the Adept Cosmetics Ninhydrin palette. I did have another one that my friend gifted me, but I sold that to another friend. This is the Ninhydrin palette from Adept. Again, I have repressed the shimmers. I do like the shimmers, but they are kind of finicky, so you have to use a glitter glue, at least for me, or else these will crease. I've repressed them with alcohol and they still sometimes crease, but a little less. But these mattes they're pretty bad, okay? They're just very, first of all, the colors are really kind of weird. But they're just kind of patchy and they're just not very good. Like, I like the La Cienega palette a lot more for mattes. And those shimmers also crease. But yeah, the shimmers are beautiful. But the mattes, just first of all, there's only 2 mattes, but like, which is weird because I like the ones in the La Cienega palette. I guess they've gotten better, but the shimmers are very pretty. Still kind of finicky, but you know, it's very pretty. And then vice versa, the opposite. I like the mattes, but I'm not really a big fan of the shimmers. And I do love this brand a lot. So and by the way, I love all these brands just because I'm talking about them in a positive or a negative way. I'm an honest person. I give honest reviews, whether I'm sent something or I buy it. Always to be honest. So this is from Nomad. This is the Ghosttown USA palette. It flips. I did buy this with my own money. The shimmers I have repressed. They're more of like they're more of like a putty kind of wet, kind of like a Super Shock from ColourPop. They do crease on me. I have repressed them. And it's a little less. I do really like the mattes in here, but the shimmers, like I mostly use this palette for the mattes because the shimmers always kind of crease on me. It's just how it is. These are, like I said, more of a wet formula. You can kind of see, like kind of chunky. But then I've heard some people, they didn't experience that and they don't have creasing issues. I do have dry combo skin right now. I'm more combo dry-ish, but having some oil, more normal skin, I guess. And then my eyelids are always oily. So I have to use a glitter glue. I have to use an eyeshadow primer. I have to set my eyeshadow primer. So these are very beautiful, but I just prefer the mattes over the shimmers. Like when I reach for this, I don't reach for it for the shimmers. I reach for it for the mattes. And then palette where like I use it because I'm like, okay, I want to get glam. I want to feel like I want to feel hot, at least in my opinion. I know I'm going to get a good look out of this is the Nomad Cosmetics New Zealand Stargazing palette. I was sent this in PR, but I love it. I did a full review on it. It's so pretty. You can go so many ways with this. You can do like colorful glam. You can do neutral glam. I love, there's these like shifty shades. I love like this. I love these for inner corners or even all over the lid. The blue is also really pretty because I think you can definitely go glam with blue. I like the mattes in here. Like you can have fun with liners. It has a black. I love this palette. It's a lot of fun. I love using it. Yeah, that's what I use if I'm like, I want to be glam. I want to feel good, you know, and I want to know that I'm going to get like a really good look where I'm like, look at me. I feel good. A palette I use just for like special shades are gonna be from Gourmande Girls, the Radioactive palette and the Ethereal palette. I can't choose just one. I bought this one. This is my first palette from Gourmande Girls, and then this was sent to me in PR. I do have a code. I'll put that on the screen for money off. I've hit pan on this one. I'm about to hit pan on Elemental. I love these shimmers. They're so good, but they do not crease at all on me. I can use them with or without a glitter glue, and I don't have any problems. These are all special shades. I just use this for, just like I said, for fun shades, for shimmers. If I want to have fun, these are the palettes that I use. So yeah, and I love both of them. I would get them like during like a sale. The owner is also extremely sweet, an animal lover. She rescues animals. She's just an incredible person. We're friends. She's just a great person. Christina's just amazing. I want something super colorful, want to have fun. So this palette is also very special to me. It was sent for my 30th birthday. I did not ask for this. The owner contacted me and was like, do you want this for your birthday? And I was like, what? This is a Nomad Monteverde palette. And while I don't use it a lot, because again, I work like an office job, I do love this palette. It is super pretty. It's just fun. Like this is like, if you want it, you could do like subtle looks. I have done subtle looks too, and I've used just the greens, I've used other mattes like to pair with it, like neutrals, or different greens. But this has a lot of pretty greens in it. It has the brights. This is my palette that I use, like if I want to use brights, except for today I used a different palette. But yeah, I love Nomad Cosmetics. As you can tell, I have 13 palettes from them. So anyway, and the packaging, they always kill it with the packaging. So good. Palette I use to kind of challenge myself is the Spook palette from Gourmande Girls, because I don't really put these pairings together. Now, I can just use these for like individual shades too. Like the white, the black is, Gourmande Girls has the best blacks, like just really good pigmented, saturated blacks, like for liner, which I use black for, it's for liner. If you want to like deepen it up, which I don't do that with blacks personally. The shimmers are really good. This is just like for bold looks for me, or like I said, I want to kind of challenge myself with the mattes. That's what I use. And I love Christina again. And this was also Doodled by the Bunny, did the packaging. The palette that I use, but not like really exclusively just the one palette, but I use like individual shades. I'm gonna pick 2 palettes. Is gonna be from Divina, Fantasia, the Fantasia palette. This is kind of, well, this is what, like November. It's not like I dislike this to use just on its own, but I just prefer to just use the shimmers or use the matte, or I always pull something else when I use this. It's just how I do it, but I love the shimmers. Divina also never creases on me with the shimmers. Never, never, never. Never have issues whether I use a glitter glue or don't use a glitter glue. Divina's just has incredible shimmers. This is expensive, which I'm not saying it's not worth it because she makes all her own shadows. But yeah, there's some beautiful shades in here. These are all shifty. I just typically use these for, like they said, the shimmers. Sometimes I use the mattes, it just depends, but I always use like sometimes different purples or something to go with this, because this isn't my typical look. The Nomad Royal Europe palette, I also bought this myself too. Packaging's so cool because it's raised and like 3D cut and everything. But this palette is more, it's a little deep for me. Again, with my job, like I could probably get the same look that I got today using this. But for my job, I like to use like more mid-tones with light tones and also deeps. All the shimmers are multi-chromes in here. But these are more like, these are jewel tones, but they're deep. They're very pigmented, but they're very easy to blend. I love Nomad's mattes. I love all the shimmers in here. It's just, this is, again, not like a one and done kind of palette for me. I can do that, but I get pretty bold looks, which is not bad if I'm going for something like today. But for like my day-to-day office job, I mix this with other palettes that have lighter mattes. And then last but not least, a palette that I don't use a lot, but probably won't get rid of ever. And I use also kind of challenge myself a little bit because I don't use it a lot, or I don't reach for it a lot, is the Nomad Cosmetics Whistler Snow Loss palette. This is my first Nomad palette. I got it 2 years ago. Again, I paid for it and I used it a lot when I first got it, but this has always been a palette that like, I love it, but I wish it had different colors mixed in with it. So I have a pan on a shade, but I'm always like with this, again, there are really tones, but just like, I wish there was something lighter to go with this, like a lighter brown or like a lighter reddish brown, or I don't know, something like a beige, or I don't know, something else besides this. And then The blue, there is a light blue, so that's fine. The green, there is a light green. I wish there was a mid-tone green instead of just a dark green. Again, I really wish there's just a different like light tone that's not just the blue or the green, because when I have mixed these with this, it looks okay, but it looks kind of muddy. I do like the shimmers in here. I never thought I would hit pan on a blue, but this is when, again, I was working from home. I do like this palette a lot. Like I said, I don't want to get rid of it because it's, first of all, it's one of my favorite eyeshadow companies. I just love Nomad, and it's special because it's my first palette from Nomad. So I use this. I don't use it a lot, but I use this to challenge myself, and because I love the brand and I do like this palette a lot. It's just my least used, besides hitting pan on this, my least used Nomad palette. Least used palette in my collection. This is my version palette challenge tag, so I hope that this blows up and other people do it. And please tag me if you do this tag. I'm gonna do this also on Instagram, and I would love, again, just tag me because I want to see, you know, where this goes. So as always, stay safe, healthy, and do something that makes you happy, and I'll see you in my next video.